eating healthy and also having a meal replacement plan.
Okay.
You can do it with a smoothie or you can do it with salads. That's why we came about eating salad, to help people to eat healthy, not just losing weight, to be healthy.
The reason why people have, taken the second option of fixing different types of weave is because they have never really been able to be tutored on how to cater for their natural hair. So you really can't blame us, you can't blame women, But when it becomes a habit, it's also very dangerous.
Okay, to get the knowledge of how to get the good hair quality, when we cut human hair from the head of the ladies, okay, we hold it like that, we take the measurement of the hair.
Relevant to every aspect of the modern day woman's life. Hello and welcome to the show. Now, Metro Woman addresses the issues that are relevant to every aspect of the modern woman's life and will offer creative, practical and inspiring solutions to make life easier. Hello and welcome to Metro Woman. Thank you for joining me today. Now, 3 out of 10 children die every day from the lack of proper first aid care after an accident has happened. Now, the thing is, if someone in the vicinity knew the right thing to do, it would have made all the difference. Today, we will learn basic tips on how to attend to children in those situations. And then later on, if you have a child who is a picky eater, find out the options that you can explore to help them eat more. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome to the Ask Metro Woman segment, where you send in your questions and then we'll provide the answers. My first question is going to be a question from Judith, who lives in Lagos. And she says that 3 months after her wedding, she finds that her husband is a completely different man from who she thought he was. Yeah, she says he's insensitive and uncaring, and we fight and quarrel frequently. He was quiet and withdrawn when I met him. I've always been the outspoken one. And now she wants to know if he deceived her. She says, did he deceive me? Now, 3 months into your wedding, you find out he has changed. Okay, there are lots of reasons why men change. And I would have assumed that, probably you were shocked, when you saw that, because it was just 3 months. But you see, women, it's very easy for us to complain and act as if we're the victims, which we probably could be in some situations. But you also want to say, would he say the same thing about you? Would he say 3 months from the marriage, you have changed? There's a lot about communication in marriages, that's very important. It's very important for you to understand your partner. And I think that in the marriage process, that's the first thing, that's the first opportunity you have. Okay, because you're married, you're done with all the excitement of the wedding, and then you find out that you're living with a real person who has real flaws and real faults. And you should remember that you're not perfect as well, okay? And the way you react to your husband is probably the reason he's reacting the way he is. I don't have all the details, and that's why we have an opportunity to continue discussing this question, on the website, on the forum that we have at the website. But I'll just say 1 or 2 things. When you're married, it's always like a compromise. You have to learn to compromise. There's a situation that I'm reminded of from this question of a lady whose husband actually started like he was beating her. He beat her so much, that she would have bruises on her face, and then all her bags. He actually went into her wardrobe one day. He tore all her bags, all her shoes. And this was about 3 months into their wedding. You know, it was about 3 months into their wedding as well. You know, when we spoke to the woman and, you know, when we tried to counsel the woman, we found out, because that was the same case, the man was quiet and then, you know, he started beating on her. We found out that she was actually, you know, the one who used to provoke him with her words and the way she said the things she said. Sometimes the things you're saying are right, but the way you're saying it is not received, you know, in that same spirit. And that's what men see nagging as, when you're trying to talk to them as if, you know, your mates. Another point I think that we should take into consideration is the fact that, you know, it depends on how long and how well you knew the person you were getting married to. And it's a lesson to single ladies. You know, there's no need rushing into a marriage. You're going to be in this thing for the next 50 years in your life, you know, so you want to take out time to be sure that you know this person. You probably feel deceived, you know, because he was quiet for the 3 months or so you met him. I'm not going to judge you, like I always say. It's a lesson for your single girls, you know, who want to rush into this thing. You know, always calm down and find out who this person is. So take out time and don't be in a hurry. And since you're in the marriage, you're married, it's 3 months, you're going to be fine. What you want to do is, you know, read books. I always encourage men to read. A lot of times, the information you need is out there, is somewhere. Google, find out, read books to find out, you know, how to communicate and relate better. Men and women, we're human beings, but you know, the way we think are totally different. So you have to find out what the problem with your man is and find out if you also are at fault. And if you're not satisfied with this question, that's why we have an open forum. So I'd like all the women, you know, and as many viewers as possible to visit our website at www.metro-woman.com, and you'll find the question there, and you can send in your comments, and you can also defend yourself, and let's see how it goes from there. But I wish you all the best. Hold on, it's going to be fine. It's probably just a phase. And then sit down and talk about it. You might find out that he'll say things that, you know, you didn't even know about. Sometimes when you sit down and talk, you clarify issues. The second question is from Caroline. Caroline lives in Lagos as well, and she's saying, how do I find the man of my dreams? A friend of mine says, the way to find the man of your dreams is to become the woman of his dreams. You know, you can imagine a situation where you meet a man, you actually hook up with this man, and he's the man of your dreams. And, you know, anybody, you know, you are proud to tell anybody, you know, that, look, this is the man of my dreams. He's everything I wanted, right? Will he be able to say the same about you? So instead of finding the man of your dreams, I think you should become the woman of his dreams. Work on yourself, work on your personality, work on everything about you, and the right man will come along. All right, so that's it for Ask Metro Woman. Send your comments to our website, and then we'll take it from there. I'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. Now, today we'll discuss simple emergency first aid procedures that can save your child after an accident. My guest for today is Dr. Tayo, who is also a certified first aid and emergency care responder. And, you know, she's here to talk to us more about that. Now, doctor, I think we take choking for granted. A friend of mine actually told me, you know, about a child who choked on groundnuts and lost his life, you know. So what are the things that we need to know as parents concerning choking when our children choke? What do we do?
I'd like to start by saying that choking occurs usually when people eat foods. And when choking occurs, what goes on in the body is that the airway or the windpipe that connects the nose to the lungs is blocked, either completely or partially by the objects, which might be food, granules, toys, beads, you know, something swallowed through the mouth. So that obstructs the airway, so making it difficult for the person to breathe. And if that is not relieved, then it blocks the oxygen supply to the brain, and then the person dies. That is how choking occurs.
Can kill.
That is how it kills somebody.
Yeah.
Now, choking is more common in children and much more infants. By infants, I mean somebody that is a year or less. That means between 0 days or 1 day to 1 year. That's an infant. It's more common in them and kills them easily because their airway is not so developed. It is tinier than an adult's own. And then their cough reflex, you know, when people choke, they tend to cough. But in the infants, I mean the smaller children, it's not so developed. So they might not be able to cough or help themselves out. So that kills them easily and instantly. Another reason why it's so common in the infants or in the children is that, you know, children are adventurous.
Yeah.
They want to look around everywhere. They want to pick things and then the thing goes into their mouth straight away. So that's why they can choke easily. You know, some toys, when you see them, they write the age there that if this child is, for example, less than 3 years, don't give this toy to this child. It's not appropriate for the child. So children are prone to choke much more easily than an adult.
So thank you so much, Dr. Tayo. That was quite enlightening. Now we'll go on a break, and when we return, we will see a practical demonstration of how to help a choking child. Welcome back. This is Metro Woman, and I'm with Dr. Tayo, who will show us right now exactly what to do when you have a choking child around you. Dr. Tayo, I can see you have a baby.
Yes, I do. This is a dummy.
Yeah.
But we have to use something that looks like a baby to really teach people.
Yeah.
So for this category of children, they are actually infants less than a year.
Yeah.
So if I have an infant choking, the child is not likely to cough or express himself. But you might notice that maybe he's not breathing properly, or he's just restless in discomfort, and the child is choking up. Probably he's swallowed something and it's finding it difficult to breathe. Or he might be restless or breathing very fast. Those are things to note that, okay, this child is likely to be choking. So if it's an infant, the child is not too heavy to turn this way. You turn the child face down first of all.
Okay.
Then you support the neck like so. And then you can straighten the particular leg the child is resting on. Then you put the legs across your arm. We call it that you straddle it, so that the child is balanced. You know, if you don't do it this way, then the child can just be falling off or swinging anyhow. Okay. So when you do this, we call the choking rescue 5 and 5. That means you're giving 5 back blows and 5 chest thrusts, especially for an infant. If it's for an adult, it's a bit different. Instead of the chest thrust, you do abdominal thrust for them. Okay. So we go like so, 5 back slabs first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can check the mouth if the obstruction is out and sweep it out with our finger. Okay. If that is not relieved, then you turn the child the other way to the other hand, like so. Okay. You support the head and the neck. Okay. And then you straddle the legs across the arm. Okay. And lower your leg this way. Okay. And then you give 5 chest thrusts with 2 fingers for an infant. So you go like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then check if the obstruction is out. If it's not, then you keep alternating.
Till the obstruction comes out.
Yes. And if time is going on, then you know you need to call for help by calling the emergency number or looking for ways to quickly transport the child to the hospital. So it's important we know the emergency numbers in our city. Yes, it's very important we know the emergency numbers in our city, because choking kills very, very easily. And if while trying to rescue the child stops breathing, then you need to start a CPR. That's cardiopulmonary resuscitation. How do you do that? For an infant like this, you can just put the child on the table. Then you do 30 chest compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then you give 2 mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. You blow into the child's mouth, and then you've called for help already. If it's for an older child that it's too heavy to be turned or to be carried, you can ask the child to sit down or stand up and then lean the child forward. And then in between the shoulder blades, you give 5 back slabs or blows again. Okay. And then you can put your arms around the abdomen and give them the abdominal thrust. So that is how to relieve choking. For children, thank you. And still talking about children, a friend of mine
whose nanny, her nanny was with this child, and the child sustained a deep gash on his forehead. You know what the nanny did? She brought a bowl and she was like collecting the blood, from the gash. What should we do when our children are involved in, have such deep cuts and accidents?
Okay, I like to say that I guess that situation that I just described is an eye-opener that you should leave your children with a responsible adult. When we say responsible adult, that means that the adult knows what to do in such maybe a domestic accident or an emergency case. He knows the appropriate thing to do. So we should leave our children with a responsible adult. Now, for bleeding, the rule of bleeding is to apply pressure.
Okay. What kind of pressure?
If it's a pressure with your hand or with the hand of the victim.
Okay.
If it's a nosebleed, the rule is apply pressure. A small cut, a deep one, apply pressure. That's, for first aid before you can get the person to the hospital.
To the hospital. Talking about first aid, it means everybody should actually have first aid boxes.
Everyone should have first aid boxes.
In their houses, especially if you have children.
Yes, even if you don't have children, in your house, in your office, if possible in your car, you should have a first aid box.
What content should this first aid box have? Just like a summary.
Well, we
have a box here.
There's a box here. So a first aid box should have basic contents. What you mean basic? Minimally or acceptable standards. It should have like a bandage, whereby, for example, the person is bleeding now. You go into your first aid box. You bring out gloves. Because remember that you don't want to contaminate the site, and then you don't want to get infected from the person's blood or body fluids. So you make sure you have to wear gloves. So there should be gloves in your first aid box. And such gloves like this are okay. So you wear the gloves, and then this is like a bandage or dressing pad. And then with your gloved fingers, you take this dressing pad.
Okay, so this is what I can apply to the pressure.
And we can see it is sterile packed.
Okay.
So there's no contamination, so to speak. It is well packed, hygienically packed. And then apply pressure on that side and then wrap it up. And then you can use like a plaster, which we have here.
To hold it.
To hold it. And if it's a small cut, there are some plasters that they have some gauze with them. And then you just put it over. And then we should remember that it is first aid. It's not the definitive management. You're just trying to do something quickly but correctly before you can get the person to the hospital or get a medical attention. So those are some of the basic contents of a first aid kit.
Thank you.
And then you have other dressings there.
And then I guess we also have to be conscious of, baby proofing our houses. I'd love to have you back, again to tell us about baby proofing and what we can do to make sure that our children are safe. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I hope to see you back here very soon.
See you too.
Good. Now, coming up next, if you always worry that your child is not eating enough, you want to stick around after the break. Welcome back. Now, picky eating is never really considered by doctors, as an emergency situation because it's not life-threatening. But it's disturbing for parents who worry that their children, can't have enough of the nutrients that they need to have, So I have with me here Mrs. Gloria Onosade. Hello, how are you?
Very well,
She's a busy working mom, and I've called her here to hear her out, on her tips, to help our children who are picky eaters. Okay, so Gloria, show us what you have.
Okay, these are the basics, regular African dishes. I want to say that picky eating is not an issue to, cry about. In the small range that your toddler, your child finds comfort, we can get them the basic nutrients that is required in that small range. And children are known with monotony. So just make sure there's a balance in terms of your nutrition. Make sure there's a bit of vegetables. Make sure that you get enough protein. Give them enough milk, except they are lactose intolerant, and give them all the fruits that they need. They might not like the appearance of the fruits, so you can give them juice. Very basic. We have chicken, we have fish. Now my little girl, she's 5 years old. She doesn't like fish. It's not the fish she doesn't like, it's the smell, that fish smell. So how do we manage that? Because to enjoy seafood for children, you could wash a lot with vinegar.
You wash the fish with vinegar. And it takes out the smell.
Yes, it takes a lot of the smell and the seafood thing out. And then you could help by squeezing fresh lime juice over.
What does the lime juice do?
It brings to life the taste of your fish, and it really helps to manage the smell, you know. So you are frying the fish. It's not, I can't find another word to use, the word fishy. Everybody knows what.
Yes, fishy smell.
Yes, so it takes all that out, and then the child is able to enjoy your fish meal.
And not know that she's probably eating fish.
Eating fish, yes. So my daughter eats fish in batter. She doesn't know that it is fish.
It's the same fish.
Yes, she will still tell you, Mommy, I don't eat fish, but she eats fish in batter. This is fish in batter. She eats fish in batter. So
so it doesn't look like fish, it looks like chicken.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And she enjoys it.
Okay, so what else do you?
Now, we have to consider making the plates look attractive to the eyes.
That's another.
Yes, you have to try, you know, for things like fries, you could cut them in different shapes. Don't cut your fried plantain or your chips or the yam. You could play around it, put a little butter in the oil, it adds life, it adds a different flavor, yes, and the children would always accept it. You know, we could do a bit of that. And then beans, that's our legume. You have a lot. It's good you give them beans. And you could give them the Nigerian moi moi. You could give them akara, properly fried without, you know, drinking all the oil. They would accept it. You could take away the back of the beans. Some people say, oh, it makes my children stool. Just take the back out and then boil it nicely to pudding, not, you know, not soggy pudding. And then put a little vegetables. You could put your carrots. If the child takes shrimps, you could put kidneys, whatever it is, a bit of, you know, play with colors on their food. They might not eat the bulk, but I can promise you they would eat your food.
They would eat more than they would usually eat.
Yes, they would eat what is required. Just make it as appealing, as acceptable
as possible, and as much fun. I like the colors.
Yeah, play with the colors. Yes, play with the colors. Do the demarcation. Buy the character plates. Buy the character cutlery. You know, just, and then please give a lot of water. You should. Then children, you know, they really, really accept the cereals. I haven't seen a child who doesn't take any cereal. Yes. From the
and the
wide
cereals
range.
are fortified as well, because
are.
Sometimes that's the worry, you know, that they don't have enough of what all these like foods have to offer.
No, give them.
And they're really fortunate they were not born in our time, right? Because we wouldn't be doing this.
We didn't have the luxury of that. Yes, so give them as many times as they want it. Give them a lot of milk, you know, and then you're good. Try to give them, if they wouldn't take the fruits as they are, you know, bring it into juice and give it to them. They would sip it. Yeah. So
one last question. As a working mom, because I know you're very busy, you have a 7 to 6 job.
7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yes.
And then you have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Responsibilities. So how do you cope? How do you cope within the context of you know, creating, having to find balance and create time to take care of everyone?
You know, my career and then the family are 2 important aspects of life that, you know, one really doesn't have to suffer for the other. As much as we can push both of them and be successful at the end of the day. So for me, I have
What kind of systems have you been able to create?
Little things we have put in place. Life functions better when there seems to be a control. When I say control, what do I mean? Put things in place, create the system, and let the system run as it should run. That way, you know, there are no surprises. You seem like you're on top of everything has to be done. You know, you have your routine. The child must wake up. You have the alarm clock to help you so that you don't shock yourself.
Okay, thank you. This has been enlightening.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to fry fish in butter because my daughter doesn't like fish either.
Okay.
You know, so thank you so much. Now, if you have any comments, contributions, or questions, you can reach us on our website at www.metro-woman.com and our blog on ukos.com. You have the details scrolling on the screen. We'll be right back. We've come to the end of the show. And we're going to round up with the inspired segment. I'm taking a quote from Joan Goff, who says that whatever you can do or dream that you can, begin it. For boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Okay? So that's it. Whatever you have made up your mind to do, whatever dream you have in your heart, you know, whatever goals that you have set for yourself, don't let anyone stop you. Just begin it. Okay? And everything that you need will come to you. Your circumstances will work to help you see, okay, that your dreams are fulfilled. All right, so stay confident, stay beautiful, and remember that it can only get better. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you on the next episode of Metro Woman.
Bringing God's presence into your home.